Welcome back everyone, it's your boy FPL Bisco. I hope the double game week was as good for you as it was for me. Now, first things first, Arsenal were meant to be the kings of this double game week. Everyone had tripled up in one way or another to get the clean sheets that we felt were for everybody. Raya let us down. Gabriel fortunately got himself an assist and he got himself defensive contributions in both games, so we didn't leave with nothing. Rice got himself an assist and defensive contributions. So they were the right picks. Let's not be too down on ourselves over what we got, but ultimately it was just a bit disappointing. No clean sheets versus Brentford and or Wolves. That's very. I don't want to go into what Arsenal are or are not, but I personally, I'm appalled by it. It was, from an FPL perspective, at the most, it was very appalling. Chalobah and Lacroix no better. They both put up stinking defensive displays. I'm going to settle for the defensive contributions and just leave it as that. We'll go into the midfield. Anderson has been reliable. Salah, same thing again. Salah got this is 3 assists in 4 games, and now their fixtures are about to turn. We're going to see the best of him. I'm telling you, you're going to have to invest in Liverpool in some way, shape, or form. VVD is going to start being popular. Ekitike will be popular. Wirtz, now that he's found his feet, has been popular, but there's no way that they're going to become a great attacking team and Salah's going to get nothing out of it. They're going to get penalties, worst case scenario. Discussed Rice already. Bruno Fernandes, thank you for the 2 points. If that's all you can give me, no problem. You've given me enough over the last couple of weeks. And Ndiaye finally got himself a nice 9-point return. That's a goal. I think it was a clean sheet, but it's definitely bonus points, so that is great. Haaland got himself an assist, and Mane should have got an assist. I would say I've seen those assists given. Maybe they wouldn't be in my case because I want the points, and God forbid FPL Bisco gets himself some spare points. So we're not going to give Mane the assist in which he deserved. But I know that they've been given, and I know that the rules say that they should be given to Mane, but they're saying that it was a double touch between Gabriel and Raya for that goal that they conceded. So I'll let it slide for now, but FPL, I'm watching. I'm not loving what they're doing. If we look at the fixtures on the come up, now we've got Manchester City, Brentford, Fulham, Liverpool, and I'm going to put in Aston Villa as well. Those are the 5 teams I think we're going to need some major assets for these teams in the coming game weeks, especially in the next 5 to 6 weeks. Manchester City are on there, but I wouldn't say they're the favourites. Newcastle at home, I'd say maybe because obviously coming up after a European fixture, I would say playing an away game after Europe can be quite grueling, and I feel like Newcastle might just throw all their eggs in Europe and just give the league, if they don't need to win the game, they don't need to compete, I don't think they're going to do the best chance of doing that. But outside of that, Leeds, Forest, West Ham, that's quite as good of a running as you're going to ask for. But the black game week in 31 means you can't overly invest in them. You're going to have to prepare for that unless you plan on free hitting in game week 31. But if you plan well enough, you shouldn't need to free hit. You should have 1 or 2 transfers that you can make on that week that you should be all right to cover it. Brentford as well. Brentford, I feel like this is going to be a big test of Thiago. I'm not the biggest fan of Thiago, I must admit. I think he's a good striker. He's put up some amazing goals. Second top goal scorer, only second to Haaland. He's been very good this season. For some reason, I'm just not sold on him. But this is going to be the run. And this happens a lot of time with strikers. When we need them and the fixtures are great, they just somehow fizzle out. And then all of a sudden, they can score a hat-trick versus Liverpool or whoever. Something random like that. And it burns my spirit. My spirit is very annoying. But in this running, Brentford assets are as good to go as any. There should be some clean sheets in there. There should be some goals. Well, there's definitely goals in there, but just who would score, I don't know. But I feel like Thiago should be reliable. Dango Utara might be someone that you could look for those fixtures. Fulham as well. So Fulham, I feel like the main, Sunderland away is a terrible fixture for everybody, really. Spurs, West Ham and Forest are tough fixtures as well, but they're all winnable games. The main reason I put Fulham here is that game week 31, they've got the best fixture, which means that captaincy is an option for a Harry Wilson if you wanted it, or maybe even for an Anderson versus Burnley at home. I feel like that's quite a factor. Aside from that, even though the fixtures they're not the worst, but a Fulham asset during this run might just be the extra defender that you might want, or an extra midfielder in Harry Wilson. Liverpool, to me, because they've got the tools to win these games, I feel like they have the best fixture run. So depending on what Liverpool asset you do want, this will be a good time to get them in. Aston Villa also, it just becomes a Morgan Rogers thing. It's like there's no one really else to get. Cons are still there, but they've got just as good a fixture run as anyone. They've got Chelsea at home, which is the hardest fixture on paper, but still at home. Man United away, of course. So depending on the Man United that turn up on the day, like how long is this Michael Carrick manager bounce gonna last for? Now, A tier list. Love this. Absolutely love this. My top three players on the tier list, these are must have. Like, we have to get them. It's Semenyo, Guehi, or Thiago. I think you need 2 out of 3 of these players over the next over the next 5 game weeks. If you've got one, okay. If you've got 2, better. 3 might be too much. So you need one Man City player and you definitely need Thiago. But if you've only got 2 Man City players, they could easily be Guehi and Semenyo. You've got no problems there, but they're must haves. Heavy hitters, take your pick as to what combination you want them in. And even on top of that, I think Guehi, if Manchester City win the league, I believe it will be because they signed Guehi. I had a few questions as to whether or not it was for his football. His footballing ability going forward was great. Like, he gets assists, he still gets goals, but this is in open play. He can still make opportunities happen. He breaks lines. He's a top quality footballing centre back, more than just a good defender. But he's still a good defender. So they can keep more clean sheets, where I thought Manchester City could never keep a clean sheet. They didn't have concentration for 90 minutes. But what he brings to that side might just be the signing of the season. If they do win the league, I believe purely it will be just because of Guehi, whether it be as a partnership with Kusanov, whether it be as a partnership with Ruben Diaz when he's back. If Guardiola slots in, I don't feel like anybody should take out Guehi from this Manchester City team. But who's to say? Maybe I'm overdoing it. Second row now, we're looking at the pricey players, but they might be worth it. We've got Ekitike, we've got Wirtz, we've got Rodgers. Ekitike is really good, but I don't feel like you need Ekitike and Thiago. I don't feel like you need Ekitike and any other Liverpool player. Because he doesn't have penalties, he has to score from open play. And open play goals this season for every team are at a premium. It has to be the set pieces that's going to make the difference. And because he doesn't take them, I'm not a big fan of Ekitike, but he has the ability to score 2s or 3s in a game. Florian Wirtz might be the easiest option. It's just the best answer I could give. I have Salah, so I've got none of the players in the top 6, but I do have 4 transfers, so I'm definitely gonna have to take one of them. But I've got well, one, maybe 2. But I think that if you're gonna have a Liverpool player, maybe Wirtz might be the best. And Rodgers, as I said before, the fixture list is good. Aston Villa, he's going to get the minutes. He's never going to get benched. He's going to play every game. Aston Villa are a bit funny, but if you're going to take a risk on any one of those players, Rodgers would be somebody in that list to have. In the next row, we've got the enablers. Ismaila Sarr's a decent player. He might be on pens, might not be. He has taken a few, or he took the last pen, I think, for Crystal Palace. I can't remember if it was in Europe or whenever, but he took a pen. So he still scores. He's still quite a threat. He's someone that is a good asset to have, and he's about 6.4, 6.5 mil. By all means, if you've got Ismaila Sarr, like I've got Ndiaye, he's one of those kind of players, just an easy player to bolster up the squad. If for the right price point, it's not a problem. Collins, like we showed, Brentford's fixtures are really good over the next couple of weeks. Collins is good for DEFCON. He's good at blocks. He's always going to be in the thick of it. So Collins is fine. If you've got the money for it, it's not a problem. Now, Rayan, I'm going to talk a bit more about Rayan probably in the next slide, but Ryan's a good pick. I think Brook might be coming back, and I don't think Tavernier's coming back. One of them's out to the end. No, Kluivert's out to the end of the season. Tavernier might be coming back. So I would take it easy on Rayan, but for 5.5 mil is a good option. But the way that Bournemouth are, they've got all of these cheeky young players. Like Krupi Jr. is still 18, 19 years old, maybe 20. But Krupi Jr. is there, cheap forward, starts, plays, can get yourself a cheeky goal. Rayan scored 2 goals, 1 assist in 3 games since he's come here. So yeah, for the right price, why not? But how many Bournemouth players are we going to have? We fall in love with Bournemouth at the beginning of the season and they went on a crazy drought. So I'm not going to say everybody jump on the Bournemouth bandwagon this time. But if you do have that extra money and you do need to kind of catch up, Rayan is not someone to sleep on. Or are his minutes going to be secure? Can you risk it? Like, do you need him to get a return? The last one, I'd say they're risky with an upside. So I'll start with Harry Wilson. I'll go from right to left. So Harry Wilson is a good captaincy option for game week 31. So long as he's in form coming into that game week, I don't feel like you'd be crazy for captaining versus Burnley at home. The issue is I don't think he's as cheap as he once was. His price rises have gone they went a bit ridiculous when he was in that form that he was in, but he's a good captaincy option, but their fixtures aren't great throughout. Like Fulham aren't, in my opinion, trustworthy enough. James Hill, 4 mil starter. I think he started every game, played 90 minutes more or less since game week 18 or 19. So for 4 mil, by all means. Again, I don't want to go too heavy on the Bournemouth. It's just which one of those assets would you need? Which one of them fills it out? And Strand Larsen. He's a good striker. He's a good striker. Whatever happened at Wolves, he's a good striker. I have him in my burner team. Got himself 2 goals in the last game week. He's not bad at all. Like, I would say Strand Larsen is good. If the money's right and you feel like you want to punt against Thiago, Strand Larsen is fine. The main issue with Strand Larsen is who you would miss out on for picking Strand Larsen. Rayan Simplicio Rocha. Now, he's hit the ground running. This is a 19-year-old, and Bournemouth have found their way into big boy scouting. Like, they're finding the players that fit the right mold to hit the ground running. Krupi Jr. had scored, I think, 19 or 20 goals in League Two last season in France, and he's come straight in and he's been a serviceable footballer straight into the Premier League. He scored a decent amount of goals. Ryan already has 100 first team appearances in Brazil. So he didn't come in as an inexperienced player that needed to be coached and needed to grow into the physicality of the game. He's come in ready to start. 3 returns straight away. This is not a joke, and he's a perfect replacement for Semenyo. But for 5.5 mil, I'd say, you know what, this could be someone. But if they've got West Ham next week, Sunderland the week after, and then Brentford at home after that, this is a good, if you're going to get Ryan, this is as good a time as ever it would be to buy him. So I'm not saying he's definitely going to return. I'm not saying he's going to be the best player in the world. I'm not even saying he's one of the future golden boy prospects. What I am saying is he's very mature, beyond his age. The only issue is, will he be able to start all through the next 3 games with players that are returning from into the Bournemouth team? So we've got Brooks coming back. We've got Tavernier that might be coming back. So this is like a real side discussion. I'm very protective of awards. So Golden Boot means you scored the most goals, but I've always been questionable is, should you get a Golden Boot with penalties? Should penalties be added to your Golden Boot discussion? Aside from the point, the metric for the Golden Glove is keeping the most clean sheets. And if you're a tiebreaker, before they used to have a ratio of clean sheets to games, and now they just give it to 2 players. I feel like the Golden Glove winner should be the best goalkeeper in the league, or who is perceived to be the best goalkeeper in the league. And clean sheets aren't specifically a goalkeeping statistic. They're a team statistic. The team that attacks the most or scores the most goals, you don't give the Golden Boot to their top goal scorer. So if you're a goalkeeper that makes a lot of saves, I feel like you should get more credit than a keeper that doesn't make a lot of saves but keeps more clean sheets because his team doesn't concede shots. It gets a bit weird. Pepe Reina won 3 Golden Gloves in a row. He won it in 06, 07, 08. None of those years was he voted in the team of the year. 06, Shay Given was voted as the best goalkeeper of the year. 07, Van der Sar was, and 08, David James was. Joe Hart also won it 3 years in a row. Joe Hart won the Golden Glove in 2011, 2012, 2013. Van der Sar was in the team of the year in 2011. Joe Hart actually was in the team of the year 2012, but David De Gea was the team of the year 2013. Joe Hart also won Golden Glove 2015. David De Gea was in the team of the year. 2014, Szczesny even won it. And 2025, Sells and Raya. So last season, Sells and Raya joined with the same amount of clean sheets, but Sells was in the team of the season. This is going to be quite frustrating to discuss because it's going to be like, oh, now that I think Raya might be on the cusp of winning 3 Golden Gloves in a row. And deservedly so. It's not to say that he doesn't participate in keeping those clean sheets. It doesn't mean that these goalkeepers that win these Golden Gloves aren't playing their role in those clean sheets. They might have a great season, but it's not the metric. Like, we're not discussing the metric for what the best goalkeeper in the league is. The Golden Boot decides who is the best striker in the league or who is the best goal scorer in the league. It's an award that is very direct. But I feel like clean sheets are they're a team achievement. Everyone from top to bottom will contribute to the clean sheet, whether that be tackles at the top of the pitch, whether that be keeping the ball up higher up the pitch, whether it be keeping possession so that you don't give chances away, whether it be making blocks and tackles. All of those things add up to a clean sheet just as much as the saves do. So if we're going to calculate who the best goalkeeper in the league is, I don't feel like clean sheets is a great metric to do. I feel like it could be part of it, but there needs to be some kind of weighted system towards who's the best goalkeeper in the league, because clean sheets clearly aren't telling the right story. This is what it looks like either going into Gameweek 27 or Gameweek 28. This is what it looks like going into next week. So this is Chelsea's last chance to pay me back. We've still got Lacroix. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. What I need to do is sort out Dorgu because Dorgu's still injured. Gudmundsson, I don't necessarily need him. I've got maybe some pennies in the bank that I could shift and make use of. So that means James Hill, definitely you're welcome to come into the club. If Haaland is injured now, I'm definitely going to get rid of him. I can tell you from now. If Haaland is not fit to play versus Newcastle at home, then I'm going to sell him simply because I can't afford him being out because I have no striking options outside of him that I can rely on. and I'm going to need to make some money to bolster that midfield. This midfield will work if Haaland returns. But if Haaland is not returning, that midfield isn't going to cover it in his absence if I've got Mane and Kruppi Jr. up top. Maybe it will. Maybe I could save one more transfer for one more game week, but it's just no strong fixtures. I'm going to be too far behind in the running. I need some stable players, not just differentials. And I feel like I've got too many at the moment. So if Haaland doesn't play, that means he's going to miss this game. Even if he comes back, he's still going to miss game week 31 because he's going to be out for the Carabao Cup final. The North London derby is going to be a huge game. I look forward to watching it. Not sure how that's going to shake out, but I'm not stressed about it at all. Whatever happens, happens. I'm leaving it to God at this point. Everton, United, big fixture. Like, there's too many players playing each other. But my bench is really weak. I have to figure this out. But I feel like I've given us enough information. We've got a good amount of information to go into next week with. So best of luck to everybody. I hope this helps, and I will see you next week. Good luck.